AITAH for being mad that my husband thinks I tricked him with our child's birth certificate. I want to give some backstory to explain where I am coming from and why this situation is so hurtful for me. My husband and I come from similar backgrounds. Our families were paycheck to paycheck and not many went to college. We both have degrees and make significantly more than the rest of our respective families. When we got married, I was already a homeowner of a small house and had a car. My husband, however, had a lot of debt and his credit was trash. It wasn't his fault. He had significant student loans and had frequently had to help his family members with money. He also has ADHD and had mishandled some bills. I was understanding of his situation, but I was also anxious to help him get debt-free, so we can have kids without such burdens over us. He was making $80K, and I was making $100K. He moved in with me, and we split expenses 50-50, except that he didn't have to pay any rent. I fully covered the mortgage and home insurance, since he's not on the deed, and I also paid extra into his debt so he can pay it off early. His car loan is in my name, and I also cover half of that. I do it technical support, and I got the opportunity to take a job that required 50% travel but paid a lot more. We together decided that I'd do this job for a few years to significantly shore up our savings and pay off a good portion of the debt. I did this job for a little over 2 years till I got pregnant, and then took a lower paying job, $120K now, which doesn't require travel. The travel job paid more, but it was so hard on me. I was traveling to the back ends of small towns where the big warehouses and data centers are located, and the job is physically demanding, pulling cables, moving equipment, working in very cold conditions. I was miserable in this job, and ended up with some back problems, but it was a sacrifice for our family. When I was 8 months pregnant, my husband asked for a paternity test. It came out of nowhere, and I asked him if he didn't trust me. And he said he did, but because I did so much travel, he just needed some assurance for his peace of mind. He said his family and friends have asked him how he could be so sure of this pregnancy when I have been out of home for so many nights. It really broke my heart that I did so much for this man, and didn't try to protect my assets or my money, and he treats me like this. I got very hormonal and cried about it, so he stopped pressuring me then. Now our son is 3 months old, and he's back at it again. He's put his foot down that I need to have the paternity test done, and he won't sign the birth certificate otherwise. I told him his name is already on the BC because we are married, and I did the paperwork before they discharged us at the hospital. He didn't realize that would be the case, and is furious at me thinking that I tricked him. So here I am stuck married to a man who not only doesn't love me or trust me but is an idiot. His family is calling me and pressuring me to let him do the test. My family is offended on my behalf, but some mutual friends are saying a test is not a big deal, but it is such a slap in the face after all I have done for him. Am I wrong for how I am feeling?
Now what are people saying? Unsurprisingly, the comments pushing OP to leave her husband. Unanimously, she is not the a-hole. Unless you count towards herself to allowing herself to be used for his financial gain. The top comment has also offered OP some sage wisdom and advice, suggesting that she push for a postnup to protect herself, recognizing this strong financial imbalance between her and her husband, only underscoring the commonly held sentiment that the husband is a leech and using her for her money and financial gain only. Others also offer sage wisdom in suggesting her flip the tables on him. Several claim that if someone is cheating on her, then they're likely to assume she's cheating on them rather than assume fidelity from her. They've advised her to demand a STI test to ensure she is also protected. And now on to the update.
Update. AITAH for being mad that my husband thinks I tricked him with our child's birth certificate? In my previous post here, I had asked about how to deal with my husband wanting a paternity test. We did the test and got the expected results. He wanted to get one that has legal validity, not a home test. It was a lot more expensive, and he paid for it. We had to use the agency to swab samples and maintain a chain of custody. I was surprised and bothered that he had this planned, but he covered the high price, and it'd be in my interest to have a clear, indisputable legal trail. So we went and did that. He's been over the moon happy since I agreed to do this, and I resent his happiness. He got the STI panel done, and that was clean too. He was surprised by my request, but didn't argue about it. He said it's just a test, no big deal. He was a lot more weirded out about a post-nup and flat out refused to cooperate there. I gave up on that because I consulted a lawyer, and I can't get much from that anyway. Whatever I have spent on him and his debt is gone, and I can't expect anything back, and we are in a community property state. We argued a lot about separating finances, with him accusing me of trying to control him using money. He pointed out that we were a couple years away from him becoming debt-free, and if I leave it all on him, then it'll take him 5+ years. He still does not understand how his showing a lack of trust in me is comparable. He kept arguing that if he were the one with more money, he'd have spent it on me, and for me to use this now makes me a bad partner. He came around and agreed to contributing more to bills after seeing how much my family has turned cold towards him. I am close to my family, and they had loved him, but this has made them upset at him. My little sister was outright rude to him, which really got to him. He is the middle child and was frequently teased and bullied by his siblings. My sister was the only relative who loved him like an older brother and doted on him. My words and arguments didn't move him, but he got upset about her icing him out. So now, he'll be paying for his own car and contributing to insurance, and covering his debt by himself. Still no rent, because he simply can't afford it. I wasn't going to ask him to stop supporting his parents. And after all that, there's nothing in his bucket. I wasn't thinking divorce when I wrote the post, and I still don't want it. But I feel like I am falling out of love with this man. Like the scales have fallen from my eyes, and all his faults that I had minimized before stand out glaringly. My mother is fully on my side, but she has advised me to not make any quick decisions. I don't know what I am going to do. He's trying to be helpful and a good partner, but it feels like an act.
So what are people saying now? For the most part, the comments section find the husband's lack of self-awareness laughable, but not in a good way. The amount of poor self-awareness and his inability to even understand OOP's point of view do not make him well-liked among the commenters. To put it lightly, most are still pushing OOP to reconsider her marriage to him, particularly since he refuses to even empathize with her feelings and thoughts. They find him very self-centered and selfish. Some also suggest cutting contact with the people who put these ideas into her husband's head, namely his family members. They also find it astounding that it took OOP's sister's cold shoulder rebuff to get him to even contemplate how he could be wrong. They don't believe he's worth it. Many also echoing the comments section from the first post, pushing OOP to at least protect herself if she won't leave him. And push for a post-nep even more now. And now for a bonus mini-story. Brought to you by the comments section.
A colleague's daughter went through the same thing after her formerly loving husband started following red pill YouTubers. He actually moved out of the house and said he wouldn't come back until she had the results of the test. She asked him to come back and offered to do the test after the baby was born, as the pre-birth testing was just over $1,000 and not covered by insurance. He refused to come home and said he wouldn't be present for the birth. She had the test done paid on his personal credit card and told him to come home. She had the results. He came home to find the results on the kitchen table, stapled to the divorce papers. Ironically, he was correct about one thing. He was not present at the birth despite coming to the hospital and making a scene. And yes, he was the baby's father. My friend said he broke down at the divorce hearing and cried like a baby.
Well, that was a lot. Vindication, I guess. So now it's your turn. What did you think about these turns of events? How'd you like the mini bonus story we found in the comments sections? Do you think OP is being a pushover? Too blind to realize she's just an ATM for her husband? Do you think it's a bit strange how the only thing he reacted to was her sister acting cold towards him? Leaves a lot to think about in this wacky world of humanity. I guess we can say, humans are strange creatures. This is Petty Honest signing off for now. Meow. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Don't forget to leave your honest thoughts in the comment section below. We love a good juicy thought.